Welcome to Hashes and Numbers. I'm Thomas. I'm here, my co-host.
Justin Kim.
And today we'll be going through free agency. Free agency is going to be starting in pretty much a couple days. The legal tampering period starts on Monday. New league season starts on Wednesday. So with that, we both put our top 100 free agents and where we think they're going to go, right? So without further ado, we'll get started. The way we're doing this is we're going to go by position. We'll start with defense and we'll go up by age, right? And we'll
Yeah.
see, who we have. We'll say who our ranks are. Um, yeah, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so first is AJ Epinesa.
hmm
Where do you have him going?
Yeah, I had him rank in the 48.
Hmm.
Wait, you said where? Right?
Yeah, where do you have him going?
Yeah, I mean, I have him going to the Detroit Lions just because, Muhammad, the edge player for the Detroit Lions, is a free agent. So I think, they got to be aggressive in their free agent to replace him. And, next to Aiden Hutchinson, I think AJ Espina, he's a pretty good edge player. I think they should go get him.
Hmm. With him, I have him going to the Carolina Panthers. He was on the Bills last season. He's 27. Um, Epinesa joins a playoff team that could boost their upside, and the Panthers get a lot of help on defense. Their defense wasn't as great last season, so I think Epinesa really helps them there. And I think the Bills just can't afford him. His price is gonna be a little too high for them. Before we move on, I have Joseph Asai on my list, so I'll go real quick. I think he's going to Washington. Um, I like him to get a payday in Dan Quinn's system, and the Commanders, they have a lot of cap space this offseason. They reestablished their defense that was not great last season. But if they want to build a playoff contender, that's where I have him. And Asai's my 79th ranked free agent. Epinesa is my 67th. We'll move on now to Boye Mafe. Where do you he was on the Seahawks last year, won the Super Bowl. He's 27. Where do you have him going, and what rank do you have him?
Yeah, I mean, I have him going to the Cardinals, the rival. I just think he has a lot of experience, and he's very elite. And the Cardinals they just need to restart their whole defensive line and defense, in my opinion. And I just think he's a great fit, and I have him ranked in the top 25.
I have him just outside the top 25. I have him going to the Jets. I think Boy Mafia heads east after a Super Bowl victory. He earns a big payday, and the Jets build on defense under Aaron Glenn. Next, you want to introduce the player?
Yeah, I have Jalen Phillips. Where do you have him going, and like what rank do you have him?
Yeah, so I have him as my number six free agent. He had a big season. This year he refound his stride, and I think he goes back to the Eagles. I think he's a big piece of their defense, and I think they don't want to lose him. So I see him going back to the Eagles and getting a pretty good deal there.
Yeah, same here. I just said the Eagles have a lot of key free agent on defense, and I think Phillips is one of the best free agent in the Eagles team.
Hmm.
And I just I just wrote down that I think they'll be heavily focused on on him, and he was making huge clutch play last year for Philly, and I have him ranked as the second best player.
After that, we have K'Lavon Chaisson. He's 27. He was on the Patriots last season. Got a good resurgent season. Where do you have him going?
Yeah, I've been going to the Miami Dolphins. I just said Dolphins, Dolphin. Yeah, edge is one of the weakest position in their team, and that they just need a lot of new like edge players and D-line
Hmm.
players, and that he's a very fast, ath athletic pass rusher, and he's a very good run stopper. So yeah, and I have him ranked as the 70th best player.
For me,
Mm.
he's 56. 56. Next, we move on to Kwity Paye. That's my 45th ranked player. He was on the Colts last season. He's a 27-year-old edge. I think he jumps ships with division rival. He gets a big payday to go to a division rival, and I think the Titans build their defense under Cam Ward there. Do you have him on your list?
Who do you say?
Kwity Paye.
No,
Okay. Next one, who do you have there?
I have Urafa Owe,
Yeah.
and I'll start. He was on the Chargers last season.
Hmm.
He's 27. I have him as the 12th ranked best player. I have him going to the Baltimore Ravens. We haven't mentioned this, but the Ravens just traded for Max Crosby, where I think, that one side, the one of the edge is set, but they need to upgrade their depth, and they also just need one more player. So I think Odafe will be a good piece for the Ravens.
Hmm. A little note on that. Jesse Minter, who was the head coach of the, or not head coach, the defensive coordinator of the Chargers, is now the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. So that's, something of note. And then also, the Ravens traded away Odafe Owe, so trading for him back is going to be pretty interesting, funny. As for me, I have him staying with the Chargers. I think he gets paid after an impressive showing with the Chargers, and the Chargers have money, so I think they keep a big crucial part of their defense there. Before we move on, you mentioned the Max Crosby trade. What are your thoughts on that? Two first-round picks for a premier pass rusher.
Yeah, I mean, two first round pick for Max Crosby. I think, both of them are very happy just because the Ravens got one of the best edge player in my opinion. He is pretty young, I'm assuming, right?
I mean, he's relatively young,
Yeah,
yeah, in his prime.
yeah. And the Raiders have two first round pick this year two first round pick this year and two for next year, right? Yeah, that
Hmm.
sounds correct.
Yeah.
It was, they're gonna start building that team with Fernando Mendoza.
Hmm. He's a 28-year-old
Yeah,
old edge, so yeah, he's relatively in his prime. Another
yeah.
28-year-old edge that was on the Raiders last season, Malcolm Kuntz. Where do you have Malcolm Kuntz ranked? Oh, what do you have Owe ranked in your rankings?
I had him as the 12th.
Okay, I had him as my number eight.
Okay, so like
Um,
same area.
yeah, relatively around. I mean, for most of these ratings, we're gonna have them in like similar areas, I assume.
Yeah.
But back to Malcolm Kuntz, yeah, where do you have him ranked, and then where do you have him going?
I have him as the 90th player, and then I have him going back to the Raiders just because, they already traded away Max Crosby. They're gonna need some edge, so they just bring back a familiar face.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did my predictions before the Raiders trade away Max Crosby, but that doesn't change my opinion. I think he goes to the Patriots. I think he goes to New England to contribute on a big contending team, and the Patriots improved upon the middle of the pack D line. The D line was solid, not great, but I think getting Malcolm Kuntz is really going to help their defensive line there. Um, who do you have after this?
After Quincy, I had Al-Qadi Muhammad.
Okay, let me jump in first real quick. I have Bradley Chubb just ahead. I have him at 93, so I don't think you have him on your rankings. He kind of squeaked in at the end. He got released by the Dolphins. He's a 30-year-old, and I think he goes to the Chiefs. He gets a prove-it deal, not a big, just 1 year prove-it deal, and the Chiefs get a veteran guy with a little bit left in the tank there. But yeah, that's my 93rd player. Who do you have after that? Sorry, go ahead.
I had Al-Qadi Muhammad. I just said, well, he was on the lines. He's
Hmm.
31. I've been going to the Falcons just because Falcons is gonna need some D-line help, especially the edge, and he's a very good experienced veteran player in my opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have him ranked 82. I assume you have him same ranked around the same area.
Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam has 85.
Yeah, so you mentioned who's on the lines. I have them going to the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I think they really got to fix their defense. Um, Defense was terrible last season, and it cost them from being a playoff team. And I think Muhammad gets a solid veteran contract. He's a older guy. Cowboys don't have that much money, but I think both sides makes sense for both sides here.
Yeah.
Next, who do you have?
I have Joey Bosa.
Hmm.
He was on the Bills last season, and this season I've been going to the Chargers because I said I have the Chargers projected to lose Khalil Mack.
Hmm.
So I just said, Joey Bosa could be a replacement for Khalil Mack just because, Joey Bosa, he's getting a little old, but he's still like one of the best edge player in my opinion.
Hmm.
But he just needs to, step up a little bit. And I have him as a 64 best player.
I have him ranked a little higher than you. I have him at 55. I think he's still got a little bit left in the juice, and this is one I feel pretty solid about. I think I like him going to the Bay to play with his brother Nick Bosa. The Niners do need edge rushing, And I think Bosa fits in here. He's a veteran guy. He's gonna not be on a huge contract, but he's gonna be able to be contribute in a rotation with the Niners. I really like this pick there with the Niners going to pick up Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Next, we got a big free agent, one of the premier free agents of the class, Trey Hendrickson. Him and the Bengals had very, tumultuous couple of years, a lot of disputes, a lot of holdouts. I'm assuming you have him as one of the top free agents in the class.
Yeah, Adam at one.
Okay, I have him at number two. I have one person above him. But yeah, where do you think he lands?
Yeah, I mean, I said the Chicago Bears. This was before, Max Crosby got traded. I mean, Travion Henderson, I mean, not Travion Henderson, Trey Hendrickson, was rumored a lot that, Chicago is going to be aggressive on one of these edge, but, you know, they cleared up a lot of cap space by cutting, or not cutting, trading away DJ Moore and cutting Tremaine Edmonds and center Drew Dalman, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
He retired, so they just have a lot, they have somewhat money, and then yeah, I feel more confident with this one, especially because Max Crosby got traded away to the Ravens.
Yeah. Um, with this, I have Trey Hendrickson going to Tampa Bay. Hendrickson's from Florida, and he'll complete the D line for the Bucks. The Bucks struggled edge rushing a lot last season. And I think it's a really good fit. Bucks have a solid amount of money. I think, Trey Hendrickson gets to go home. I like the fit there. Next, who do you have?
I have Jadion,
Jadeveon
Jadavian,
Clowney?
yeah, and then he's from Cowboys. I have him going to the Tennessee Titans just because Titans gonna be looking to fix their whole edge this year, and I think Clowney fits in that Titans system pretty well.
Hmm. I have him ranked 72. You have him ranked 76.
Yeah,
So I have him going to the Detroit Lions. The Lions don't have a lot of money, but I think he gets a chance to be in the D-line rotation. Lions get a veteran guy to play opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. The last few years, the Lions have really struggled with getting solid edge production. I think Clowney still has a little bit in the tank, so I like where he's going there. You mentioned this next guy next. Yeah, why don't you introduce him?
yeah. The next player is Khalil Mack. He's 35 years old now, getting a little older. His previous team was the Chargers. I've been going back to Las Vegas where he started, his career, right? He was drafted there. It said
Mhm.
Vegas is rebuilding, and then they're rebuilding the D line as well, or a lot of the defense. So I just said, I think he'll go back home, especially because Max Crosby thing like opens up a lot of cap space.
Yeah. I have my Khalil Mack ranked as 29th on my board. Um, I have him going to Baltimore. I think Baltimore, he follows his defensive coordinator to Baltimore, and the Ravens get a veteran presence to boost their edge rushing.
You still think, Khalil Mack's still gonna go to the Ravens
Mhm.
despite the trade?
I think so. I think Baltimore it wasn't a one guy like fixes the problem there. I think they can definitely bring Khalil Mack and on a veteran contract, it's gonna be a 1 year deal. It's not gonna be a big break the bank type of guy. Yeah, I like Khalil Mack there, my 29th ranked free agent there. And next I have Cam Jordan, 37-year-old edge rusher from the Saints. He's considering retirement, but if he doesn't retire, where do you have him going?
Yeah, I just think he'll stay home, cause it's gonna be one of his few last seasons. I think he might play like one more season and retire. So, I think Cam Jordan rather stay home,
Hmm.
just not get any new head coach or like, a new system, in fact. And yeah,
Yeah,
just makes sense.
that's a good thought. For me, I have Jordan to go to Buffalo to the Bills. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be similar to some of the older guys you see. They bounce around trying to ring chase, and I think Jordan has earned that. Bills get a veteran presence in the locker room, while Jordan gets his chance to be like he doesn't have to be the premier edge rusher on a team. He can kind of lay back, rotate in and out. not put as much strain on his body, be a veteran guy. So
Yeah,
that's all the edge rushers we have. We'll move to interior defensive guys. I have four guys. How many do you have?
I have three DTs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So why don't you introduce your first guy?
my my first guy is John Franklin Myers. I mean, I think I have him a little high. I have him at the 15th spot.
Okay.
He's 29, from the Broncos. I've been going to the Chicago Bears just because, the Bears D line was one of the worst. I think that's what I said early on, but they'll just be looking forward to, fixing that whole defense this year.
hmm I have them
Yeah.
going to the Tennessee Titans. Titans have a lot of money. I think they have almost 90 million or maybe even 100 million in cap. And I think he gets a huge deal to start in Tennessee. And then the Titans get a veteran quality defensive lineman to start the rebuild. Jeffrey Simmons is getting older. I think Franklin Myers does a good job fitting in here. This is the guy I don't think you have. I have Kyrus Tonga in here. He's a 30-year-old defensive tackle from the Patriots. He's my 94th ranked guy, so pretty much at the bottom of the list, not a big name there. I think he goes to Vegas. He goes to Vegas, as a veteran interior lineman, and I think, he gets a pretty good solid deal after making the Super Bowl with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have for the next guy?
I have Deshaun Han.
Okay.
He's 30 years old. Previous team is the Chargers. I said the Philadelphia Eagles just because the Eagles can afford a cheap defensive tackle where they need some depth, and he's a very good run stopper and a solid pass rusher. Yeah, and I have him at the 81, so that makes sense on why
hmm
he's a little cheap.
Yeah, I don't have him on. I don't have a deal with him. But I don't know if the Eagles are the fit, but I think he does leave the Chargers there. Next is David Onyemata. He's my 60th ranked prospect. He's from the Falcons, 33 years old, and I have him going to the Chargers. I think he gets an opportunity to get a big deal with the Chargers, getting some money, and I think the Chargers really strengthen their defensive line there. Um, I think the Chargers, they want to be a good defense. Harbaugh wants to be a good defense, so I like Onyemata to go to the Chargers. What do you have him at ranked, and where do you think he's going?
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 71 spot. I have him went to the to the New Orleans Saints because said they'll be looking to sign draft a defensive line player, and David. Yeah, David has a good run stopping play style.
Yeah. And then last for the DTs, I'll round it out with Calais Campbell. He's my 100th ranked prospect, so I don't think you would have him on your list.
Yeah.
He was on the Cardinals last year. I think he goes to the Lions. He might retire, but if not, Detroit's a good spot. He can ring chase. He gets rotational guy play. He'll be just like a veteran presence in that locker room. Um, I think he fits what Dan Campbell is as a coach.
Yeah.
Now we'll go to the linebackers, where I have Leo Chanel, my 44th ranked guy. 25 years old. He was on the Chiefs last year. I have him going to the NFC, going to the Green Bay Packers. He heads to the NFC North. Packers bring in a young, solid option to lock up the middle of the field, in an effort to really buy in this year. What do you have him ranking? Where do you think he's going?
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 31 spot,
hmm
and I have him going to the Packers rival, Detroit Lions. So with losing Anzalone, they're gonna have to focus on the linebacker spot, and Leo is a very good player.
hmm
Yeah.
Next, you want to introduce this guy?
Yeah. Nakobe Dean from the Philadelphia Eagles, 25 years old. Unfortunately, I've been going to the Giants. I said Giants need a linebacker. Dean is only 25. He's very good. Well, he's very young, and he's a Pro Bowl level type player, I say, and he has a lot of potential, and he's very fast, and his coverage skill is very elite.
hmm I have him a little lower than yours. I have him ranked 63, which is below Chanel. I just think he's less of a coverage linebacker. He's more of a blitzing linebacker. And I think that really fits the Viking system with Brian Flores. The Vikings really like to blitz their linebackers. They do all kinds of things. You see with Van Ginkel, with Josh Metellus. And I think he really fits the Viking system. The Vikings don't have a lot of money, but I think they got enough to bring in the Kobe Dean there. Next, I got Quay Walker. He's my 59th ranked prospect or free agent, not prospect. He's 26 years old. He was on the Packers last year, and I like him going to the Cleveland Browns. He wants to prove himself as a reliable option. I think the Browns give him money for his potential. Quay Walker obviously had some off the field issues, some suspension issues, just after plays and whatnot. I think going to Cleveland is going to be really good to get him his value back up. What do you have him ranked and where do you think he's going?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going back to the Green Bay Packers, and I said their linebacker spot is very weak, and I think Quay Walker is like one of the players that the Packers should try re-signing back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Next up, who do you have?
Next player, I have Devon Lloyd from the Jaguars. He is 27. I've been ranked as the number three. I've been going to the New York Jets because I just said Jets has a lot of holes on defense, and I think they're gonna make at least one or two splash signings.
Hmm. I have him going to the other team that plays in MetLife. He's also my number three prospect, and I have him going to the Giants. I think the Giants really they have a great upfront, edge rushers and interior D tackle, but the linebacker they just released Bobby Okereke, so I think Lloyd replaces him there. Giants really build their defense, and I have a lot of hope for this Giants team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next, I got Devin Bush. He's my 64th ranked prospect, and he was on the Browns last year. Had a pretty good season. I have him going to Arizona. I think he gets a smaller deal to prove his value, and the Cardinals, sorry, take a chance to maximize his value.
Yeah, I have him at the 32 spot. And then I have him going to the Tennessee Titans. I just said Titans need help on linebacker. Bush is a very good linebacker. His speed allows his coverage ability to be, elite, and his tackling is very reliable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce your next guy because I don't have him on my list.
Yeah, Justin Sternad from the Broncos, 30 years old. I have him at the 75 spot, and I've been going to the New Orleans Saints. Says Saints need covering linebacker. Sternad is very fast, physical. He's an elite tackler, and he's a very good piece to have on defense.
Hmm. Next one I got is Alex Anzalone. He was on the Lions last year. He's 31 years old, 68th ranked free agent for me. And I have him going within the division to the Chicago Bears. I think Anzalone, he goes to the Bears. The Bears get a cheaper quality option. Um, and the Bears, they're having linebacker issues. They released Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards is coming off a leg injury. So I think Anzalone does a good job fitting in here. He's not going to be very expensive, and I think he can really help shore up this defense that was weaker than their offense was last year.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 47 spot. I'm really high on Alex Anzalone just cause actually, yeah. I've been going to the Chicago Bears as well. I said Bears need to fix the defense a lot, safety and linebacker. And I basically what you have. I said TJ Edwards coming off a scary injury. And Anzalone brings the speed. He's a good tackler, and his coverage skills are nice as well.
Hmm. Next, I have Eric Wilson. I don't think you have him on your list. He's my 95th ranked free agent, so I don't expect him to be on your list. He's 31. He was on the Vikings last year. I like him going to the Commanders. I think the Commanders do need linebacker depth, especially with Bobby Wagner being older. And I think Wilson gets a good amount of money with the Commanders having the money there. Um, we'll go to a guy that I think both of us have, Caden Ellis. He's my 84th ranked prospect or free agent, sorry. And he's 31. He was on the Falcons last year. I see him going to Carolina. I think Carolina, they're looking to get veteran players in the middle of the defense, and Ellis goes to the Panthers looking to prolong his career.
Yeah, I have him at the 54 spot. I also like Caden Ellis a lot. I've been going back to where he was, the
Hmm.
Falcons. I said Falcons need linebacker. He knows the defense system already. He fits well with the defense, and he's a very good player for this team.
Mhm. Who do you have next?
I've asked Singleton from the Denver Broncos. He's 32, ranked 59. I've been going back to Denver just because, Broncos need some linebacker help after after being projected to lose, Justin Strnad. Then I said I think they'll try to sign Singleton, who is a very good fit for this defense.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's not a bad option. I have him going to the Buffalo Bills. Singleton gets a solid deal in retooling his Buffalo defense. And I think the Bills get a solid option for discounted value. Obviously, he's on the older side. He's 32. I don't see him getting a long-term deal, but I think he still has quality years behind him. So I'm gonna give him Buffalo as my pick. And then do you have Demario Davis on your board?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a 97 is why I asked. He's 37. He's on the Saints last year, and I think he just goes back to the Saints. He finishes his career on the Saints while the Saints keep their veteran leader. But where do you think he goes to?
Oh, I have him in the 77th rank.
hmm
I have him going to the New York Jets. I said Jets needs a lot of linebacker help. He has a linebacker leadership. He has good coverage skill, and he also could help, mentor the young linebacker that the Jets are gonna bring this year.
Mhm. All right, so we're gonna head to the secondary now. But before we do that, do you have any picks? Do you think there's anything outrageous here? Anything that you think that's not gonna happen?
Nah, I feel like a lot of them is reasonable for your
hmm
team. What about you?
No, I think a lot of them make sense. I like some of these picks. Some of them I'm thinking like, man, I could have picked that. That was something I didn't think of. But yeah, we'll move to the secondary now. The first guy I have is Cordell Flott. He's my 75th ranked guy. He was on the Giants last year. He's 25, so he's really young. And I think he goes to the Bengals. I think Flott gets a big payday and becomes CB1 on the Bengals, while the Bengals build their defense that, really struggled last year.
Yeah.
Now, next I have Greg Newsome at 62. He's 26. He was on the Jaguars last year, had a really good year. I see him going to the Falcons. I think Newsom gets a good payday, especially with a good season from the Falcons. And then he reunites with Kevin Stefanski, and the Falcons bring secondary help along on the other side of AJ Terrell.
Yeah, I have him ranked as the 35. Greg Newsome is also one of the player I really like. I have him going back to the Jaguars. I said Jaguars are weak on corner. Greg is the best corner in the team by a mile, and he's still very young and he has a lot of potential left.
hmm Um, Next I have Alontae Taylor. He's top 15 for me at number 15. He was on the Saints last year. And I think Taylor leaves to get in a better situation. This is where I have him actually going to the Jaguars. Since they're losing Newsome, I like the Jaguars to pick up Taylor. Jaguars make, an improvement in the secondary. Where do you have him going? And what rank?
Wait, what rank did you have him at?
I had him at 15.
Okay, so I have him at 18. I've been going back to the Saints. I said if I am the Saints, I think the one player I tried to match and bring back is Taylor, just because he's a very good corner for this team.
Mhm.
He has a very good run. He's a very good run supporter, and he plays with that physical style.
Yeah, the one thing about that is I think he gets priced out by the Saints. The Saints they don't have a lot of cap space. Um, so that's the one issue I saw with the Saints there. Um, Next, who do you have?
I have Eric Stokes.
Mhm.
I have him ranked at the 57. He's 27 from the Raiders. Said the New York Giants is a team. Giants need corner help, where Stokes is a very fast corner, and his coverage skill is very nice, coming with the elite speed he has, and he's also young as well.
That's crazy because I have him exactly ranked 57 as well. And I actually thought about putting him with the Giants. I ended up having the Giants getting someone else later on. But you kind of mentioned him. I think he takes advantage of a prove it year. I think the Steelers actually bring him in, especially the Steelers buying in. A lot of their guys are going to be really old. I think Stokes is a younger guy, has a lot of good tools, and he'll be alongside Joey Porter Jr. So I think the Steelers pick him up there. Who do you have next?
I have Jalen Watson.
Mhm.
He's ranked 46 for me. He's 27 from the KC last season. I've been going to Philly this season though. I said last year beside Quinion Mitchell, every other cornerback looks like they're struggling, like no matter who it was. And I just said Watson's a very he's a physical ball hawk with very good coverage skill, which would fit into the ecosystem pretty well.
hmm I have him going to the Chiefs, and I actually have Jalen Watson as my number one corner in free agency. Like you said, he's 27 on the Chiefs, and I think with McDuffie gone, I think the Chiefs are going to be forced to bring him back. I don't think they're going to look to lose both their corners, especially if they're losing a safety later on as well. So I think Watson stays with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs make an exception to the secondary rule. They bring back the top corner in the market, in my opinion. Next, I got Monteric Brown. He was on the Jaguars last year, and he's my 73rd ranked prospect, or not prospect. I keep saying prospect, but these are free agents. My 73rd ranked free agent, and I have him going to the Eagles. You kind of mentioned it. The Eagles really didn't have a lot of help on that secondary, other than on the other side, Quinyon Mitchell. I think Brown's looking for a chance to show his value on a top tier team. I think the Eagles get a second corner opposite of Mitchell and on a pretty cheaper deal. It's not going to be as pricey as these top free agents, but he's a solid option, at 73 ranked.
Yeah, I have him at the 99 rank. I've been going to the Commanders. I said he's very cat friendly value. He's very young as well, and he can replace Lattimore.
hmm Now we got the next guy. Who do you have there?
The show, right? He is currently the 51 ranked player for me. He's 27. He's from the Chicago Bears. I said he's going to the Seattle Seahawks. I said Seahawks are looking for a corner, and Hawks want or they want a they want a long, fast, speedy playmaking ability player like him. And I said he would fit into the Seahawks system well.
On the Bears last year, do you remember how many interceptions he had?
Like seven.
Okay. He's my 39th ranked guy. I value him a lot more than I think you do. Um, Not a lot more, but a little bit more. But the reason why I asked about that, do you remember the stat about the Jets?
No.
They had no
That.
interceptions last year.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
he goes to the Jets there. I think he earns a big payday after his breakout season in Chicago. And I think the Jets get a guy who's has really good ball skills and with no interceptions, I think this is a perfect guy to go in there, hopefully get some turnovers there.
Yeah. I'm looking at the stats right now. He had. Shoot, hold up. Where's the interceptions at? No, sure, right. He had five, and Kevin Byard
hmm
has seven. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he fits in with the Jets there, especially with the Jets having money. But, I'll let you introduce this next guy because I know you got a little connection to him.
Yeah. Reed Williams, the next player. He is currently 27. He's ranked the 24 spot for me. He was on the Seahawks. I have him going to the Jets. I said after Jets lost Sauce Gardner in a trade, I think they'll look for a young corner where Reek is one of the one that also comes with a elite tall pressure and has insane speed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He reminds me of Richard Sherman a lot. Um, and he's my 16th ranked free agent, and like Richard Sherman, I think he follows suit and he goes to the 49ers. Um, Woolen, I think he is really good at getting the ball, and I think the Niners, they play a lot of man coverage, so this it fits what Woolen does and what his skill set is, and they get much needed help in the secondary. Last year the secondary was not very good. Um, and yeah, I think Woolen fits what San Francisco's building. Next, so I see you don't have him on your list, so I'm gonna go to Trayvon Diggs. He released by the Packers, got traded by the Cowboys. He's 27, so he's still young. I have him going to Chicago Bears. I think the Bears, they got money to spend elsewhere. They got some more pressing needs to fill, in my opinion. And they do have a solid number one corner in Jalen Johnson. So I think Diggs gets a prove-it deal, a 1 year deal, just to kind of, revamp his value, similar to what Deshaun Wright had. And the Bears they get a cheap cornerback option, but with this upside, we remember what Trayvon Diggs had back in Dallas. So I think they trust the upside there, and he's a big interception guy. So I think the Bears system really fits there.
Hmm.
Who do you have after that?
I have Josh Jobe.
hmm
He is ranked the 33rd best player for me. He's currently 28. Previous team Seattle Seahawks. Said the Seattle Seahawks are the teams because with the Seahawks corner depth getting light with all these upcoming free agents, I think they'll bring back Job and not Reek, where he is also very physical, sticky coverage guy, and could be a nice depth piece.
hmm Um, I have, sorry, Josh Jacobs going to the Seahawks as well. He's my number 46 ranked prospect, ranked free agent.
I'm gonna have to count these prospects now if you
You
keep
might
saying it.
have to, but I'm returning to the Seahawks. I think while Reek is kind of priced out, I think he's in a right price range where the Seahawks can keep him. He had an up and down season, but I think he has a lot of tools that the Seahawks really value. He's a really physical guy, and I think that's what the Seahawks play on, physicality. So I like him going back to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then this is my last corner on the board.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. So we both have Jamel Dean. He's
Hmm.
my number 10 ranked corner, or number 10 ranked player as a corner, 29 years old. He was on the Bucks last year. I have him going to the Giants. I think he's a veteran guy. The Giants definitely need secondary help. And I think they start a process like the Patriots where they bring in solid veteran guys who may maybe middle of the pack in terms of like the money. But yeah, I like the Giants for Jamel Dean.
Yeah, I said Tampa Bay just because, he is the best corner for Tampa right now,
Hmm.
and they'll be aggressive to get him back, in my opinion. He's
Okay.
also a very locked down corner.
Hmm. All right, so now we move on to safeties. Um, Probably the youngest guy, in my opinion. I think he is the youngest free agent that I see on the board.
Yeah, I think so too.
At 24 years old, Nick Cross. He's my number 74 ranked free agent. Got on that one. He was from the Colts, and I have him going to the Cleveland Browns. I think Cross is young, can be part of the Browns' future, and the Browns, they already have a pretty solid secondary on the outside. I think they get a guy in the safety position who can really provide value and be there through the end of the rebuild.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 83 spot, and I haven't gone to the Commanders just because I said Washington needs to fix a lot of defense and safety are one of the position. Yeah, and he's a very fast, physical play style guy with good tackling and good coverage, and Commander's just a good fit for him.
Mhm. Next I got Brian Cook, who's on the Chiefs last year. He's my 36th ranked guy, and I think he gets a chance to get a big contract in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is going all out on defense. Obviously, the playmakers they have on offense. I think they go all on defense to contend in that, the North Division that wasn't necessarily the best last year.
Yeah, I have him at 52. I've been going back to KC. So he's maintained their best safety, who's a very rangy physical cover player and will make impact right away for this defense when signed.
Hmm. Next, who do you have?
I had Kobe Bryant. He's 27. He was on the Seahawks. I've been ranked at the 50th. I said Seattle brings back a player who made a huge impact for the playoff and signs a 2-year deal, in my opinion.
Hmm. I have the exact same thing. I have him 37th ranked though, but I think he goes back to the Seahawks. He showed immense potential under elite Mike McDonald defense, and they keep together a solid safety core, in my opinion. Who do you have after that?
Yeah, I have Jaquan Brisker from Chicago Bears. He's 27. He's ranked 28 for me. I said Desmond Hurst as a Bears fan, one of my favorite defense player. He goes to the Cowboys team that needs a lot of help on defense, and he's a very physical hitter and a good tackler, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have him ranked 33rd, and I think he goes to Pittsburgh. Physical guy. I think that's just a Pittsburgh type of guy. He was great for the Bears, earning a big payday, and I think the Steelers find a replacement for Jalen Ramsey in a tough secondary, a physical secondary.
Yeah.
We'll blow by this one real quick. 23rd ranked Cam Curl, he re-signed with the Rams for me. Or he's 23rd for me, but he re-signed with the Rams on a 3-year deal. So solid deal. Key contributor on defense for the Rams.
Yeah, I've been ranked at the 20th.
Hmm. Now we got Reed Blankenship from the Eagles. He's 27, and he's my 42nd ranked player. I have him going to Dallas. I think he jumped ship to a heated division rival, and I think the Cowboys make a big splash to fix a struggling secondary.
I've been ranked at the 30th. I said the Eagles. Kind of biased on this one, but I don't think he will leave Philly, and he's a very good fit for this defense.
Hmm. Um, Yeah, so I see you don't have Alohi Gilman. He's my 85th ranked guy, so not a big top tier guy, but I think he's 28. He was on the Ravens last year, and I think he goes to Philly to fill in for Blankenship. Gilman, he's earned a solid deal after a productive season. And Eagles replaced Blankenship with a quality starter. Now, next, who do you have?
I have Jalen Thompson from the Cardinals. He's 28. I have him ranked at the 74. I have the Jets getting him. I just said Jets also need safety help where Thompson's a young, experienced, solid player where his pass coverage is very elite.
Hmm he's my 61st ranked player, and I think he goes to Houston. Houston has three-fourths of an elite secondary. I think they get their fourth guy. Uh, with D'Amico Ryans, I think the Texans complete their secondary to be one of the greatest in NFL history, if not, the last decade or so. And then I have one more safety left. I see you have two, so why don't you go with your second to last guy?
Second to last?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Tony Jefferson, say or 34. And he's on the chart. He was on the Chargers. I've been ranked at the 95.
hmm
I've been going back to the Chargers just because he is a good cheap depth piece, and he stays with the team he's very comfortable with, and he's a very good special team player from what I saw.
Yeah. And the last safety you have is
Kevin Byard, 33 years old, from the Bears, and I've been ranked at the 21st. I just said Chicago will free up cap space, which they did, and bring him back on a 1 to 2 year deal, in my opinion. And he's also a very elite ball hawk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have too. I have him 20th though, so one spot above, and I think he goes back to the Bears. I think this is just the perfect fit. He had 7 interceptions with them, and he fits their defense so well. He's a great leader there. I just think on a short deal, the Bears reward him by bringing him back. So
Yeah,
that's it on defense. Anything, anything of note there before we head on?
not really, do you?
All right. So this is where I have my number one free agent, Tyler Linderbaum. He's a center. He's 26 years old, and he was coming from the Ravens. Unfortunately, because of like the franchise tag and the money situation, he's gonna be a free agent, and I have him going to the Chargers. I think Linderbaum, he'll set the market with the center position. He'll fill a need that the Chargers need. And a heavily criticized O-line for the Chargers is gonna get fixed.
I have him ranked at the 7. I have him going to the Raiders just because I said with new quarterback coming in, I also think they will get a elite new center and will max protect Fernando Mendoza.
hmm
Yeah.
Who do you have after that?
I had Cade Mace. I had him ranked at the 55. I said he's going to Titans. Titans will be looking for a new center. Mace is very athletic, where he can play multiple position, where he fits both guard and center, protecting young Cam Ward.
I have him going back to the Panthers. I just think, Mays had a pretty good season with the Panthers, and I think there's no reason for the Panthers not to bring him back to protect Bryce Young there. After that, we got Connor McGovern. He re-signed with
Yeah.
the Bills this morning, so he's my 22nd ranked free agent.
I have him ranked at the 27th.
Yeah, so we can skip by him. And then my last center, is this your last center?
Yeah.
Okay, we both have Luke Fortner. He's 28. He's coming from the Saints. He's my 76th ranked guy. I think he goes to Vegas. You kind of mentioned Vegas really wanted to protect Fernando Mendoza, and I think Fortner's a solid option. Good pass protector, versatile run blocker, and in a new system with Clint Kubiak, I think they're really sure up their protection.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 86th spot. I've been going to the Commanders. Commanders need a center after releasing their center. He is a young, cheap option who is solid in pass protection, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Now we go to the guards. First off, you have Zion Johnson. I have him ranked 48th. He's from the Chargers. And I think he goes back to the Chargers. Johnson's still young, could benefit from a short-term developmental deal. The Chargers can bring in a young piece to protect Herbert.
I have him ranked at the 45th. I've been going to the Bills. I said they'll lose their starting offensive guard, and I think they need to improve offensive guard so they could sign him to protect Josh Allen.
hmm
Yeah.
Next, I have Dylan Parham. He's my 81st ranked. Oh, sorry, no, I have Elijah Vera Tucker. who's
Yeah.
25th on my board. He's a he's 27 he was on the Jets last year, coming off injury. I have him going to the Commanders. I think Vertugo gets a restart protecting a young and promising quarterback. The Commanders get much needed offensive line help.
I have him at the 92, so a big difference. But I've been going to the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks offense guard is, kind of weakish. They're looking to replace Anthony Bradford potentially, and he is still young with elite potential.
Yeah, I think the big difference is just the way we looked at it because Vera Tucker's coming off a season-ending injury. So if you look at his production last year, it's going to put him lower in the production ranks. But I'm looking more at his potential. So that's why we see the difference in ranking. Um, yeah, you have a guy next. So why don't you go ahead and go through him?
I have Chris Paul. He is 27 Commanders. I have him ranked at the 97 as well. And I've been going back to the Commanders. I said they are very short at left LG. He is a very young and he's a elite physical run blocking guard who knows the system already.
Hmm. I don't have him on my list, but I do have now Dylan Parham, who's my 81st ranked player. He's 27. He was on the Raiders last year, and I have him going to the Cleveland Browns. I think Parham gets a chance to prove himself on a rebuilding team. The Browns and Todd Monk can get a chance to get a guard to fill out the offensive line after losing almost everyone in free agency.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 89th spot, going to the Carolina Panthers. Said he is a very athletic guard with quick footwork and would fit in this team very well. Who needs few of OL and OG?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Next, I got David Edwards. He's my 40th ranked guy, and he was on the Bills last year. He's 29. I have him going to Seattle. You kind of mentioned why Seattle wants to get a guard. I think they can upgrade on Anthony Bradford, and I think Edwards heads to Pacific Northwest on a relatively nice deal.
Yeah, I've been ranked at the 49. I've been going to the New York Jets. Jets OT are set in my opinion, but I think they still need to build the OG where he will start and help the struggling Jets.
Hmm. Yeah, who do you have next?
John Simpson, 29-year-old from the Jets, and I've been ranked at the 72. I've been going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Said that the Philadelphia Eagles was one of the best online. However, the injuries and retirement been, ruining the core. I think John Simpson can fit with this team very well.
Yeah, I have him ranked a little higher at 41. I think he goes to Buffalo. Um, I think since it moves to a contender, Bills get a cheaper option to fill out their offensive line. Um, yeah, protect Josh Allen, really help against some quality edges in the AFC. Your next guy's not on my list, so why don't you go ahead and introduce him?
Dalton Schneider. He's 31 from the Bengals. I have him ranked at the 60th. I have him going to the Broncos. I just said Ben Powers. Defense, Ben Powers, Denver's O-line will miss a lot of time next year, and Denver is looking forward to get 1 through 2 player in that position, in my opinion. He's a vet, and he will fit right in.
Yeah. Next I got Wyatt Teller, who's 31, coming from the Browns. He's my 80th ranked guy, and I think he goes to Houston. I think Teller gets a chance to contend in a weak division, and I think the Texans build upon for the protection for CJ Stroud. They focus on the O-line after a dominant defense.
I've been ranked at the 87th spot. I've been going back to the Cleveland. Cleveland needs a lot of offensive line players, where Wyatt would help them, maintain the good running game and will bring back the veteran leadership.
Hmm. Next, I have Isaac Selmalu, my 19th ranked player in free agency. And I think he's my second ranked offensive guard, but I think he's going to the Cleveland Browns after a year with the Steelers. You kind of mentioned why the Browns want veteran offensive linemen. In a run-heavy system, he gets a chance to start, and the Browns bring a veteran guy to establish Todd Monken's system.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 17th spot. I've been going to the Chargers. Said he's a very solid offensive guard, right? OG, yeah.
Mhm.
And I said can help with the run game and also improve the pressure while passing, where Justin Herbert struggled with that last year. Their OTR set, but needs some more improving on offensive guard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your next few guys, and I'm noticing that you kind of value the older guys a little less. we got Joel Bitonio next, and I have him ranked 18th. He's my number one ranked offensive guard. I think even though he's 34, at 18th ranked, I think from the Browns, I think he can still be a quality guy. And I think he goes to San Francisco with a chance to contend. He goes into a system that fits him, and I think the Niners get a solid veteran that can help really raise the ceiling, especially with an older core. I think they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 79 spot. He- I have him going back to the Browns just because he is already in Cleveland. Cleveland's looking for a lot of line. I think Joel is one of the few only online to come back.
Hmm. And then go ahead and get your next guy.
Greg Von Radden. He's 36 and he's from the Giants. He's ranked number 100 for me. I have him going back to the Giants. He's a very reliable offensive guard, getting old, so a lot of experience. He's familiar with the Giants system already.
Hmm. And then my 30th ranked guy, Kevin Zietler, which I know you have him a lot lower. But I think, even though he's 36 from the Titans, I think he goes back to the Titans. I think he still has quality years left and he keeps continuity in the rebuilding offensive line. Titans keep a veteran guy.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the 80th spot. Going to the Cardinals. Cardinals are looking to rebuild with their undecided new QB. They need a solid veteran offensive guard who is both good on pass and run.
Now we go to the outside of offensive tackles.
Yeah.
Who's the, I got Jamari Salyer, who's on the Chargers last year. He's my 92nd ranked guy. And I have him going to the Raiders. He was not that great last season, but he gets a chance to develop in Vegas in a new system while the Raiders get a young guy with a lot of potential.
Yeah, I've been ranked at the 68th player. I haven't going to Philly. I think the Eagles is a great fit because they're losing Fred Johnson, in my opinion. He is also reliable in the pass protection.
You just have a guy named Fred Johnson.
Huh?
You guys have a Lane Johnson and Fred Johnson. Just sorry,
Yeah.
it caught me off guard. Fred Johnson's on the Eagles, so's Lane Johnson. They're both offensive tackles.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
so.
okay. You sure about that? Okay. I'll go on to the next guy. I got Rasheed Walker. He's also 26. He was on the Packers last year. He's my ninth
Yeah.
ranked guy. And I have him going to New England. I think Walker enters a great system. They're gonna need help with the offensive tackle, especially with Will Campbell being iffy. And I think they showed willingness to spend money in the trenches last year. I think they continue that and they get a solid offensive tackle.
Yeah, looking back, the Eagles still have a Fred Johnson.
Okay.
You want to introduce the player?
Uh Rashid Rashid Walker. Did you
Yeah.
bring who you have as your pick?
Yeah. I
With
had
Rashid
Rasheed
Walker?
Walker. Huh?
With Rashid Walker, did you put your pick? I think I have him going to the Patriots.
Yeah, I've been going to the Cardinals. I'll start
Okay.
off first.
I
Said he's
already
a
said my guy while you were looking for Fred Johnson. He's my
oh
number nine ranked guy, and I have him going to the Patriots.
my bad. I have him. I have 14. So he's a reliable OT with good protecting skills, and he's still young.
Mhm. Um, oh, I guess I do have him on my list. Okay, sorry. Uh, I got a couple guys before Fred Johnson. Sorry, I didn't notice that I had Fred Johnson on my list. But I got Jawan Taylor. He was recently cut, so I don't expect you to have him on your list. But he's my 32nd ranked guy. From the Chiefs last year. I think he goes to Houston. I think Taylor gets a cheap deal to bolster the line for the Texans. I kind of mentioned it earlier. They want to protect Stroud now. They're going to build their offensive line, as we saw it being a big problem in the playoffs for them. And then I also have Jonah Williams. I'm surprised you don't have Jonah Williams. Maybe he was just cut, but he's my 28th ranked guy. He's 28 in age, and he was on the Cardinals last year. I have him going to the Lions. I think Williams goes to a contender situation. He's familiar with Drew Petzing, who's the new offensive coordinator for the Lions, and the Lions bolstered the offensive line after some retirement and aging issues. But we get the man of the hour, I guess, Fred Johnson. Where do you have him going?
Yeah, I've been going to the New England Patriots. I said he is flexible and can play great in both tackle and guard. adding flexibility and helping the Patriots O-line who's struggling in the playoffs.
Yeah. I have him ranked 77 and I have him going to the Browns. I think he gets a chance to start in Cleveland. And the Browns they had an all free agency on their offensive line. So I think the Browns get a solid tackle who can be valuable in the rebuild. Who do you have after that?
I have Braden Smith,
Okay.
30-year-older from the Colts. I have
Hmm.
him at 19th ranked. I have him going to the Browns. I said he is a solid OT where all Cleveland offensive line stars are free agent. He's a very good veteran and can help whoever the QB is. So Wink Shador.
All right. I have him at 17 and I have him going to the Cardinals. He's still a quality tackle. He gets a chance to start and mentor a rebuilding team. And I think the Cardinals bring in a veteran presence in the locker room. Who's your next guy?
My next guy is Elijah Wickerson, 31 years old from the Falcons, ranked 56. I've been going to Chicago. Said he's a solid offensive tackle, and the Bears at least need one more offensive tackle, especially in the left tackle spot.
Hmm. I don't have him on my list. Um, but I do have the next guy, Jermaine Luminor. He is my 78th ranked free agent guy, which is a big difference from what you have. But he was on the Giants. I think he goes back to the Giants. I think Luminor goes back to a familiar place. The Giants bring back a starter in a weaker tackle free agency class and a weaker tackle draft class.
Yeah, I have him 16. I have him also going back to the Giants. I said I think Giants would want to maintain him. He's very reliable and knows like the players there and the system already.
Hmm. So that's all I have for offensive line. Same for you.
Yeah.
So now we get to the fun part. This is where everyone, seems to like to predict guys. This is the guys we see in fantasy. These are the guys, we really talk about a lot more. We don't know if the offensive line talk. Let's talk some ball here. Uh, Chigi Okonkwo, my 58th ranked guy. He was on the Titans last year, he was 26, and I have him going to New England. I think Okonkwo really, he's going to bring a receiving threat for Drake May. Um, I think this is kind of a preview for later on when we talk about receivers, but I don't have the Patriots picking up any receivers. I think Okonkwo kind of fits the receiver tight end spot. Not a really good blocker, but a good receiver there. So that's who I have Okonkwo going to.
I have him ranked the 58 as well. I said the Denver Broncos though, after Evan Ingram had a disappointing season, I think they'll try to sign a cheap good option like Okwonkwo, who is a very athletic and a very good blocker as well.
That's actually a really good spot for him. I didn't think about that. I have the Broncos taking someone else, but moving on, I got Isaiah Likely at my 31 spot. He's 26 and he's on the Ravens, was on the Ravens, and he's still gonna be on the Ravens in my opinion. Likely showed a glimpse of potential in the last week, I guess, to try to make the playoffs. And I think they bring him back with Andrews being older. I see him being cut soon, so I like him going back to Baltimore.
I have him ranked at the 40th. I also have him going to the Ravens. I said Marcus Mark Andrews getting old where they can look to get him away. Likely has a bunch of room for improvement and is a tight end one level and he's very athletic and can catch a lot of contested and he has a lot of room for yard after catch.
Yes, we have the exact same thing. Next we got Cade Otton. Where do you have him ranked and where do you think he's gonna go?
I have him ranked the 43rd. I have him going back to Tampa Bay. Cade Otton is a huge player for Tampa Bay's offense, where he is a very good route runner, and he's good on those contested catch as well with the yard after catch ability.
Hmm. I have him going to the Commanders. I think Kadon, he's a solid safety valve for Jaden Daniels. I think Commanders bringing a replacement for Zach Ertz, who's retiring. He's my 89th ranked guy, so not a really top tier guy in my opinion, but a solid option for the Commanders. Now we go to Charlie Kohler, and I'm noticing, I looked at your board. You had Okonkwo going to the Broncos. Um, and I had Okonkwo going to the Patriots. Well, I have Charlie Kolar going to the Broncos, and spoiler alert, you have him going to the Patriots. But Kolar is my 91st ranked guy. He was on the Ravens last year, and I think he's a good run blocker and a good safety blanket. And the Broncos really like the tight end in the Sean Payton system. I think he's a good fit for the Broncos. Why do you think, where do you have him ranked, and why do you think he goes to the Patriots?
Yeah, we're at the 69 spot. Pages still needs to fix tight end a bit where they could sign Kohler. He's a solid runner and a good contested catcher, fits the system pretty well.
Yeah. I don't have your next guy, so you can go ahead and have him.
I said no event. He's 73rd. I've I've been going to the Commanders. Said Zach Ertz has suffered a bad injury last season. They have no depth, so they will focus to sign a tight end this season. He is a very athletic tight end and boosts the red zone opportunities.
Hmm. Next, I have David Njoku. He's my 65th ranked guy, 30-year-old tight end from the Browns last season. I think he goes to Miami. He provided great catch radius in the red zone. Dolphins get a good threat on offense, and Njoku, he played college in Miami. I think he's a good fit in Miami.
Yeah, I have him at 66, and I've been going to the Eagles. Eagles will lose Dallas Goedert. Njoku replaces him. He's a very tough, physical, good red zone target, and is a former first rounder with a lot of potential left, which has been blocked in my opinion.
Hmm. Who do you have next?
Next, I have Dallas Goedert, tight tight end. Yeah, I'll say that. 31st or 31 years old from the Eagles. I've been ranked at the 29th spot. I've been going to the Dolphins. For Miami's offense, one of the weakest position is tight end, where they can sign Goward, where his route running is nice and can catch contested ball, and it's reliable.
Hmm. For Goddard, I have him going to Tampa Bay. Goddard, you said he's a really reliable guy. I think he is, and he's going to play with Baker Mayfield. I think the Bucks replenished their offense that fell apart at the end of last season, um, and I think they get a good threat there. Now Tyler Higbee, he's my 71st ranked guy, um, and he's re-signed with the Rams, so nothing really to say there. Rams keep a veteran presence. Higbee gets a short-term extension. You have a guy after that, or I guess before that, that I didn't have on my list. So who's that, and would you have him going?
Yeah, Darren Waller, 33 years old, former team Dolphins. I've been ranked the 93rd. I've been going to the Vikings. I said with TJ Hawkinson getting old and not that useful for this offense anymore, I think they'll cut him, and the Vikings would sign a good option like Waller, who is a very tough physical tight end.
That's a really good pick. If I had him on my list, that might be a good spot for him because he's cheap too, and the Vikings are in some money trouble. I like
Hmm.
that pick. And then the last tight end we both have, I assume we have the same thing, is Travis Kelce. If he doesn't retire, he's going to stay with the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
Okay. Where do you have him ranked?
The sixth spot.
Okay. I'm a little further back. I think he's getting older, 38. But, you know, he was good last year, so I can see why you put him up there. Now we get to the running backs. Fun question every year, the running backs. Yeah, who do you have to start us off?
I have Kenneth Walker, the former Super Bowl MVP. He's 25 years old, former team is Seattle Seahawks. I've been ranked at the number four spot, and I've been going to the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos has announced that they will go after running back for sure, being aggressive at the spot, and I think Denver will be heavily interested on the former Super Bowl MVP.
Okay. I have the Broncos getting someone else. But Kenneth Walker, my fifth ranked guy, he's 25, which is really young, or he's still in a young spot for a running back. And I think he goes to Carolina. Carolina, he brings big playability next to Bryce Young, and Canales' familiarity with Walker, as Canales was a coach on the Seahawks team. And I think the Panthers improved their rushing attack. Last year it was on and off. They had some big games from Rico Dowdle, but they also had some inconsistencies. I think Kenneth Walker secures that up.
Yeah.
Next up, who do you have?
I have Tyler Algier, 26-year-old, former Team Falcons. I've been ranked at the 36. I'm really high on this guy. It's just, a little sad that he was blocked by Bijan Robinson. I've been going to Seattle Seahawks with K9 setting to depart and Zach with injury. Tyler is a Tyler is a cheap elite option where, in my opinion, I think he will have his best year next season if he goes Seattle.
Hmm. I have him going to Tampa Bay. I think he's still going to play in a committee system, but I do think he has a bigger workload share. And I think the Bucks get a former 1,000-yard rusher who, has quality seasons under his belt. He's going to be with split carries with Bucky Irving. I really like the fit there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, who do you have next?
I have J.K. Dobbins ranked or 27-year-old former team Broncos. Ivan Rick at the 41. Ivan going to the Panthers. Panthers might be losing Rico Dowdle. J.K. Dobbin has been injury prone, but when he is healthy, he is elite with his burst vision and his receiving skills as well.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, he's my 87th ranked guy. Um, I think he takes the 1 year deal to show his value in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to lose ETN in my opinion, and I think Jaguars get a cheap back to build on their success.
Yeah, I can see it.
Who do you have after this?
I have Kenneth Gainwell. He's 27. Previous team is the Steelers. Ivan Rank at the 62. I've been going to the Commanders. Commanders need a running back help with Corey. Can you say his name? I just
Ja'Cory
said
Closkey
JJ.
Merritt.
Yeah, where he is a good price back who can split the backfield. He's very shifty back who also has a very nice receiving ability.
Yeah. I have him going to Seattle. He's my 96th sixth ranked back. I think he provides a good stopgap until Charbonnet returns. He's a good receiver, and I think that's what, kind of complements Charbonnet a lot, getting a good receiving threat, and I think he replaces Walker with a great receiving ability. Next up, I got Rashad White. He's my 53rd ranked running back. He's 27. He was on the Bucks last year. I think he goes to Arizona. I think he gets to be a lead back. Cardinals add support for the rebuild without having to, put too much into a running back to stop, potentially in the future.
I have a rank 82. I also set the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals would probably look for a running back where it was weak last year. He's a very patient runner, and his receiving skills would be one of the Cardinals, and his receiving skills would be the best out of Cardinals back.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, After that, who do you have?
I have Travis Etienne, 27 years old, former team Jaguars. I have him ranked the number 8, very high on this guy. I have him going back to the Jaguars. Jaguars need a running back badly just because they have no depth, and I think they'll try everything to get ETN back.
hmm I have him ranked number 7, so he's my number 2 running back in the class. I think ETN goes to the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been needing a running back for a while now. And I think this is a perfect fit. He's a good receiver, he's a quick runner, and the Chiefs, they get a guy who really helps support Mahomes, especially when Mahomes is coming off an injury. He doesn't have to run as much. After that, I got Rico Dowdle, who's my 50th ranked guy. He's 28 and he was on the Panthers last year, had a great year with the Panthers. And I think he goes to the Broncos. You mentioned earlier Broncos be aggressive getting running backs. I think this is a perfect fit. Dowdle's a really bruising running back. He's a downhill runner, while RJ Harvey is more of a finesse, receiving guy. And I think the Broncos I think Sean Payton wants to run a committee backfield. I think Rico Dowdle is a perfect fit there.
Yeah, I have him at the 37 spot. I have him going to the Steelers. Steelers need some backfield help. Dowdle vision, pass catching, and short yard is very elite, where Rico Dowdle can be trusted. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard season.
hmm Anything before we move on to the quarterbacks? No, I know you're a Broncos guy. How would you feel about either Rico Dowdle or Kenneth Walker going there?
Yeah, I mean Rico Dowdle is very elite. I would say, he's a committee guy. He was able to get 1,000-yard back-to-back season, which is pretty impressive as a split field in my opinion. K9, he's a dog. I like what I saw from the Super Bowl, that patient thing. He should continue with that in my opinion.
hmm
And hopefully it's K9, but I'd be fine with, Rico Dowdle as well.
Yeah. We'll move on to quarterbacks. I notice you have a lot more quarterbacks than I do, so you're probably gonna have to run through a couple of them. But we both have Malik Willis to start. He's my 43rd ranked guy. I know a lot of people have him ranked higher just because, he's shown potential when he's played. Damn, big yawn over there.
Huh?
Uh, I have him going to Miami. I think he just has a lot of connections from Green Bay, including the new head coach Jeff Hafley, and the Dolphins need a new personnel QB. I think Malik Willis is a perfect rebuild project, especially while the Bills and the Patriots contend. You just throw a chance at Malik Willis there.
I have him ranked at the I have him ranked at the 11th spot, going to the Arizona Cardinals. After losing Kyler Murray, I think they'll try to replace with someone young like Willis and someone who's also capable of running away from the pressure, kind of like, Kyler Murray.
hmm Speaking of Kyler Murray, that's who I have my top ranked quarterback at 34. He's 28. Obviously he got released by the Cardinals, and I think he goes to Minnesota. I think Murray gets a prove it year in a great offensive system. Vikings get a guy to compete with JJ McCarthy, and he's on a minimum contract, which really helps. They don't have to pay him that much. Vikings don't have that much money, so I think it's a good fit there.
Yeah, I have him ranked at the ninth spot, going to the Miami Dolphins. I think Dolphins will be looking for a new quarterback, and I think Kyler can be that one. He comes with athleticism, and he is a lot. He is also thought, but his potential just has been set back a bit. And talking about, Kyler Murray, I think he should just go back to the MLB.
Um, Next, we got Marcus Mariota. He's 90th ranked player for me. He's 32, had a pretty solid season with the Commanders, filling in for Jaden Daniels. I have him going to the Arizona Cardinals. I think he goes to a spot where he can compete for a starting job, and the Cardinals get a starter who can be a bridge till 2027 when there's a lot better quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah, I've been ranked at the 94th. I said the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes has suffered a torn ACL and TCL. Minshew is a free agent and also got injured. KC will have to sign a new quarterback, and Mariota makes the most sense for me because he is also, a solid slinger. Yeah.
Yeah. The next guy you have, I don't have on my list. Um, so who is that?
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky, 32-year-old from the Bills. I've been ranked the 98th spot. So welcome back home. Welcome back to Chicago. Just because with the rumors about trading away Tyson Bagent, I think the Bears bring back their first rounder back, Mitchell Trubisky, a reunion.
Damn, you're giving up on Caleb that early?
No, just a QB2, just because Tyson Bagent is leaving.
The next person you have on your list, I don't have either, so go ahead and go through that one.
I have Kirk Cousins, 38 years old from the Falcons. I have him ranked at the 96th. I have him going to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is also familiar with the Vikings and can help develop JJ McCarthy, who has been struggling a lot.
hmm That's not a bad idea. I mean, I've seen rumors of that too. But the last two quarterbacks we both have, so they're both unks. I got 98 ranked Joe Flacco for me. He was on the Bengals and the Browns last year. I'm going to Atlanta. I just think he gets another opportunity to compete for a starting job, and the Falcons get insurance in case Michael Penix Jr. isn't ready or he isn't the quarterback that they thought he is.
Yeah, I have him ranked at 88, also the Atlanta Falcon. I said Joe Flacco knows the Kevin Stefanski system and can help develop Penix, who has a lot of potential but has not peaked out yet.
hmm and then the last guy, Aaron Rodgers, he's my 69th ranked player. He's 42. He was on the Steelers last year. I think he retires, but if he runs it back one more year, he reunites with Mike McCarthy, and the Steelers go all in for another year on an aging roster.
Yeah, I have him ranked 65. I think that's kind of too high. Like, just looking at it, I said he's also considering retirement, so I think he either stays in Pittsburgh or retires, just because, he has been moving around way too much recently, and I don't think he wants to go to a new team just because he's aging. He's a just like you, and he's 42.
Yeah, I'm not 42, but you know, we'll move on to the last position. We both got 10-ish um, receivers, so this is the one we both were pretty interested in. I'm interested to see who you have and where you see them going. But I got Wan'Dale Robinson ranked 13th overall. He's my third ranked receiver, and I have him going to the Titans. He played with the Giants last year. He played with the Giants in the Brian Daboll system. So I think he gives Cam Ward a target in the slot, and the Titans add an offensive weapon.
Yeah, I have him the 22nd. I've been going to the Cleveland Browns. I said Cleveland has barely any threats on offense. I think their backs are set. But other than that, their QB needs help, where Robinson's a very good route runner and a good yard after catch, like he did last year.
All right, and now why don't you introduce the next guy?
I have Alec Pierce. He's 26 from the Colts. I have him ranked at number 10, and I have him going to the New England Patriots. After cutting Stephon Diggs, I think Patriots will go out after a wide receiver to replace him, especially now that they have no star wideout. I think Pierce can be one of the one where he balled off and is a deep ball threat and a yak monster. You're not the
Yeah,
catch.
this is my number one receiver actually. I know he's not yours, but I really like Alec Pierce. I think he goes to the Raiders. I think he's a big play threat for Fernando Mendoza, and the Raiders bring in a reliable target in a new system. The Raiders don't have any receivers, even though they have the two tight ends. I think Pierce really fits in with the Raiders there in the Clint Kubiak system.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Romeo Dobbs. He's my 27th ranked guy. He's 26. He was on the Packers last year, and I think he heads west to the San Francisco 49ers. I think he's going to be the number one option in San Francisco. The Niners bring in a reliable option for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I have him ranked at 38. I have him going completely opposite the East. I said after losing Wanda Robinson, the Giants can look for a playmaking wideout where Dobbs is quick and is very good route runner and has reliable hands.
Hmm. Next up, I got Calvin Austin. He's 27. He's my 52nd ranked player. He was on the Steelers last year. I think he goes to Denver. The Broncos are looking to get some or some receiving threats in general. I think Austin goes to the Broncos to provide another threat for Bo Nix, and the Broncos get receiving help.
Makes sense. I said the 61 for him. Carolina Panthers. Panthers need a wideout help where Tet and maybe Coker is the only useful wide receiver in that group. Calvin is a speedster who has ability for yards after catch and a deep threat monster.
Yeah. Next I got Jalen Naylor. He's my 49th ranked guy. He's 27. He was in the Vikings last year, and I think he also travels west. I think he goes to the Rams. I think Naylor becomes a slot receiver in Sean McVay's system, and the Rams get a speedy option to play off Puka and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Jalen Naylor, I have him at 44 rank. I have him going to the Falcons. After losing Darnell Mooney, the Falcons go out for him. He's a very fast wideout with vertical threat and can help the deep ball next year.
Yeah, who do you have next?
I have Rashid Shaheed. He is 28 years old from the Seahawks. He is rated 39 for me. I said Shaheed made straight impact when he got traded to the Seahawks. He's fast and is a deep threat while being one of the best punt kick returner.
Hmm. I have him at 24th just because of his special teams value, and I think he also stays with the Seahawks. He had a major impact on special teams with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks get a good field stretcher and a special teams master. Next we have Juwan Jennings. He's 21st on my list. Um, and I think he was on the Niners last year and he's going to the Colts. I think Jennings proves himself in another great offensive system, and the Colts get a reliable guy for whoever their quarterback is.
Yeah, I have him ranked the 23rd, and then I have him going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So with Raiders 99.9% to get Mendoza, I think they'll be aggressive to get an elite wide receiver for him. John Jennings is one of that guy. He is very reliable and has very good speed.
Hmm. And now we get to the older group of guys. Debo Samuel for me is 35th in the total rankings. In my opinion, he's 30 right now, and he was on the Commanders. In my opinion, he's going to the Cleveland Browns. I think Samuel's coming up and off and up and down season, and he's looking to prove himself. I think the Browns bring him in to be a mentor and provide value while also providing an option for the new quarterback.
Yeah, I have Debo Samuel at 34. I have him going to the Baltimore Ravens. As a few reasons why Baltimore struggled last year was just because the wide receiver inconsistency, most only coming from Zay Flower. Debo is an explosive playmaker with speed and physical. He can stretch the defense whenever he wants to, which is scary.
Yeah. Next we got Tyreek Hill. He's my 88th ranked guy, mostly because of that injury. He's 32 years old and he was on the Dolphins last year. I think he goes back to KC. It just makes sense. He's rehabbing off a knee injury. He might not play this year, but the Chiefs bring back a deep threat.
Yeah, I have Tyreek Hill going back to the KC as well. the 42 rank. Tyreek has been disappointing, but with KC, he had peaked out. KC needs some wide receiver help, which I think he goes back with his deep ball and his unreal speed, helping out Mahomes once again.
hmm Next, I got Mike Evans. He's the number 11 um total guy. He's my second ranked receiver in the market. He's 33. He's in the Bucks for his whole career, and I think he changes teams. He goes to Baltimore. I think he leaves for a contender in his final years. Baltimore brings in a good, reliable red zone threat for Lamar Jackson to complement, the backfield there.
Yeah, I have him at the number five. I've been going to Tampa Bay. I said Mike Evans is also considering retirement very soon, and it just makes sense for me to, just stay at home just because, he's about to retire. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to stay where he is.
Yeah, and then the last guy you have is Keenan Allen, or we both have Keenan Allen. What do you have him going, and what did you have him ranked?
Item rank 63. Item going to Chicago Bears. After Chicago Bears loses DJ Moore on the trade, I think they will try to sign another wide receiver. It looks like Keenan Allen will leave the Chargers. And Keenan Allen already knows the Bears system where he was there last season basically, I guess. I think he will just go back to Chicago Bears.
Yeah, for me, I have Keenan Allen ranked 66. And I think he goes back to Chargers where he played most of his career and last season. He's getting old. I think he just ends his career in the Chargers, and the Chargers get a veteran guy as a mentor. Yeah, is there anyone else you want to talk about that's a free agent that you didn't put on your list?
Yeah, I mean, one of the guy I want to say is Bob Miller is going back to Denver. You know,
Okay,
I think if there was like a betting spread, I think it'd be like minus 200 or something.
to go back to Denver.
Yeah,
I don't know if Denver wants him back, especially with the edge rushers they already have.
I guess, but I don't know. It looks like they want each other back, so
Maybe. And then just kind of explain how this is going to go during free agency, which starting next week, and keeps going on. We're gonna have 2 points if you get the correct team and they go to a different team. 1 point if you get the correct re-signing. So if you have a guy re-signed to a team, right, and you're correct on that, you get 1 point. And then if you have a player who leaves and you go to the correct team that they leave to, you get 2 points. Obviously 0 points for being wrong.
you get a point if they leave the team.
hmm No, you get a point if they leave. You get 1 point if they stay on the team that they are and you predicted
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
2 points if they leave the team and you predict the right team. 0 points if obviously if they leave to a different team.
0, 1, 2. Yes, I okay.
Yeah.
Understand. I
Zero
get
points
it.
obviously if they stay and you had them leaving, and 0 points obviously if they leave and you had them staying.
Yes.
Cool. We will keep up with that in the following episodes. We will catch you guys next week. Peace.
Yeah, peace. Vamos.